Look at this. In February 2025, one of the world's most famous AI researchers, Andrej Karpathy, posted this on X, saying there is a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give in to the vibes and forget that the code even exists. That one post gave the world a new word, and even today millions of people still call that. Now look at this. 1 year later, the same person, a different post. This time Karpathy said something different. He said programming with AI agents is now the normal way professionals work. But now they check everything carefully. He gave this a new way, a new name. He called it agentic engineering. The man who invented the term vibe coding has already started using a different one. So if you search for vibe coding today, you are learning a word that its own inventor has already moved past. And also you are missing out something important. Real apps built this way have already leaked real people's data. In this video, I will explain what vibe coding actually is, why the person who invented this now uses a different word, and I will show you the real numbers on what happens when people trust this blindly. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why this word is already outdated and what to watch out for. Let's go. Okay, what actually is vibe coding? Vibe coding is nothing but you will sit in your chair and you will say what you need in plain English to the AI agent or LLM, whatever it is, and it just builds it. You don't even look at what the agent is writing. That's exactly what vibe coding is. But this has become the standard way of writing code even in the top tier companies. As you can see, by March 2025, 25% of Y Combinator's new batch had written 95% of their code this way. Actually, Garry, the CEO of Y Combinator, posted this on X. So it is how it is. LLMs are very good at writing code. So humans just became the orchestrators. Okay, the person who introduced the word vibe coding is now calling it as agentic engineering because programming through AI agents with more oversight and scrutiny is the default for professionals. All the professionals who are writing the code are not actually writing the code, they are letting AI to write. That's why he called it as agentic engineering. Agentic is nothing but you will just steer the agents on how to write and what to write. Engineering means we have to check what the agent has written. That needs a real skill. So he called it as engineering. So vibe coding is like Tesla self-drive. It drives the car, you can sleep. But agentic engineering is you will steer the car. It will ultimately take you to the destination, but you need to steer it in the right way. Okay, so the rule nobody mentions is writing the code is damn easier now in 2026. You just say what you want in plain English, in a finger snap, LLM writes the code. The models are that good. You didn't even expect this a few years ago. Writing the code is easy, everything else is difficult. Why? Because even I shipped a SaaS app. I named it as Replix Captions. You can find the link in description. It's a captioning app built for native Telugu users, but also now it supports Hindi and English languages. So that's what it is. So while building, everything was built very easily because I didn't know, I don't know how to write actual code. I know what I need. That's it. I used Cursor, Codex, Cloud Code, but overall I shipped the app. But shipping the app is another task. That gives you the real friction. Because as soon as you ship the app, you will find hundreds of bugs that you didn't even expect, that you didn't even know those exist. That's how it is. So keeping that aside, so that's the rule. There is a rule called the first 90% of the code takes 90% of the time, but the next 10% of the code takes other 90% of the time. So what this means is you can write the 90% of the code, but the 10% checking, debugging, all those stuff takes other 90% of the time. So here in simple terms, so writing code is easy, but making it live to the public or making it work seamlessly with proper security is tough. As you can see, this is how a vibe coded app looks like. From the front view, it looks beautiful with nice elevation and stuff like that, but from the back, it's just standing right there like a cinema set. It just have two poles for the balance. That's how a vibe coded app it is. So we need to take care of the rest. So there are a lot of studies that proves that vibe coded apps are risky. As you can see here, 45% of AI generated code introduces a known security hole tested across 100 plus models by Veracode. So these people tested like hundreds of models, but they found they are still lacking at security. So that's what they found. And next, 85% failed to defend against cross-site scripting, a way of sneaking harmful code into a site through something as simple as comment box. So what this means is, let's say on your website there is a comment box, you are asking reviews or something like that. So a hacker comes into that comment box and he doesn't type a normal comment. Instead, he types a small type of hidden computer instruction which looks like a text. If the website isn't built carefully, it doesn't show the text, it actually runs like a command. And it runs on every single person's screen who came after that hacker. That's how someone will steal your login credentials and mess up with your account just by leaving a comment. That's exactly what this cross-site scripting means. So 85% failed to defend that. Next, 2038 critical vulnerabilities found across 5,600 live vibe-coded apps scanned by Escape.tech. So basically, the Escape.tech has scanned 5,600 live vibe-coded, and which are live to the public, like the real users are actually using that apps, and the Escape.tech found 2038 critical vulnerabilities in them. And there are some other examples. A web-coded app called as Quittr was built in 10 days and went to $1.1 million in revenue. But its database was left on public, exposing 600,000 real users. Among them, 100,000 people are actually minors. And next, that second 90% we discussed about in the previous slide came from this thing. So as you can see, this post, this person is saying the AI has contacted this orange section, the other 10% takes this much of time. The idea takes 5 minutes, working demo takes 2 hours, and the final 10% is taking freaking 6 months, which is obviously the shipping and the security part. So that's what it is. Vibe coding is actually there, and real professional programmers, coders are actually using, and even Anthropic says 90% of their code was written by its own AI models. So we cannot change that, but what we can change is we need to be careful and we need to keep some things in mind before we build and ship. First thing, you need to check your database default setting before going live. The Supabase, while you're using the Supabase or whatever you are using the database, you have to make sure nothing is public and everything is secure. Next, secrets. So never leave your passwords or private keys sitting in the code itself. So whenever, if you paste the live API keys or whatever the tools you are using, if you are getting API keys from that site and pasting in the chat, then that is 100% exposed. Okay, never ever do that. You have to use a .env file. You have to paste in that and ask AI to get it from there, because .env files are get ignored. So those are somewhat safe. Next, access. Check who is allowed to see and touch what. So AI is very bad at it. It just writes the code and never says who is actually using that. Basically, we are opening door for everyone along with the right person. After that, read it. Read through what AI actually wrote before you publish it. If you don't know how to read it, most of the people don't even know how to code. That's where we are right now. So you should have AI explain what it wrote. Explain line by line. Explain simple language. You can ask something like that. AI is very good at explaining stuff. So you have to do that and scan it. If you have a real coding experience, or if you know what is going on, don't just leave it right there. You have to scan it once you are done. And finally, ask it. If you are someone who doesn't know how to code or you doesn't understand what it has written, you should actually ask it to explain. That's the only job you have. Before you ship it, you must ask to check the security part and make sure you get a top tier model to do the audit for this security concern. Smaller models might not go so deep, so you have to get the top tier models that are very good at, like Fable, Opus 4.8 at this point of time. Those are the good models. So you have to have them and do the audit. So that is all about vibe coding. So Karpathy says vibe coding is good for throwaway projects, demos, things nobody else depends on. But the moment real user touches it, the moment it goes public, that second 90% is very crucial, and that stops being optional. Okay, that's not an optional anymore. One line you should remember is never ever ship a code to a real project if you couldn't explain it to someone. So the vibe coding term is slowly moved on, but still we are doing the same thing, but we are asking to AI agents a much powerful models, not like a chat LLMs. That is what it is, but still the way of writing code has completely changed. So you have to take care of the security part. That final 10% is very crucial. So I recently understood while building the app. Until then, I didn't even know how to code or something like that. I learned everything, like how to communicate, how to ask, what to find, everything, how to steer the agent. That's why I learned it the hard way by taking reps and iterations. That's it. Let me know if you want me to make like how I build like the whole ideation and stuff like that. If you want me to make a dedicated video on that, you can let me know in the comments. And this is all about vibe coding. Hope you got some idea, and also hope you got some real inputs on how to find the security issues and security concerns in your code before shipping to the public. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe for more. Bye.